Joining me now to discuss how these recent developments impact the days leading up to the presidential election is Dennard, a GOP commentator and the senior communications advisor for the RNC's Black Media Affairs. So Paris, last time we talked, a major development thrown into the 2020 presidential race, that of course being the passing of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the opening of a Supreme Court seat. So I want to ask you, who does this favor politically when it comes to making this argument going into the election?
Well, I think that we should try not to make it a political issue. I keep reminding people this is a constitutional issue. The Democrats want to make it a political one, but at the end of the day, this is about the Constitution. The Constitution says that the President of the United States shall nominate a person to be on the Supreme Court. They don't have to be a judge. They don't have to be a lawyer. Any person to the Supreme Court if there's a vacancy. And then the Senate should advise and consent. And obviously that means vote on an up or down vote on that person. It doesn't go into details about if it's the political season, if it's an election season, if it's 6 months before the election, 20 some odd days, 2 days, or whatever. It doesn't matter. If there's a vacancy, the president's constitutional authority granted to him by our founding fathers says that he's supposed to do this. So they want to make it a political issue, but it is not one. It's a constitutional issue. It's the president's authority. And that is what we have to remind the American people. He's doing what he's authorized to do by the Constitution.
And I think you're exactly right. And I think we're going to really get an answer about that over the next couple of weeks when we will, I'm assuming, inevitably see a nomination be put out there, the Senate vote to confirm that individual, and they take a seat on the Supreme Court. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people, they want to get involved in this and say that there's a constitutional crisis. But I think the very fact that that is the process that will take place is a testament to what is already on the books, if you will, or that the books being the Constitution in this case. And when we look at this as well, you bring up that Democrats want to make this a political issue, but looking back to 2016, Republicans made this a political issue in some degree, and they ended up winning the White House, holding the Senate, and building on the House. Do you think that it's a mistake for Democrats to make this a political issue?
It is a mistake for Democrats to make this a political issue because at the end of the day, the American people want the Congress and the Senate and obviously this White House to work together and to have action. Look, Joe Biden has yet to release his names of the black women that he wants to put on the Supreme Court. It's been over 80 days since he promised to release that. Why? He's already said it's because he wants to avoid the scrutiny. He wants to avoid the political ramifications of putting a name forward or names forward of people who are so radically far on the left that it would turn off independent voters. It would turn off a lot of Americans who would see this person as a purely political, ideologically way to the left pick. That's why he hasn't released it. And that's why we have to hold these accountable. To your point earlier, you talked about President Trump's transparency and how you get what he says, what he means, and you get what he says. He put out the list of Supreme Court nominees over a year ago and then updated it weeks ago with 20 additional names. So we know exactly the type of judge, and then we know the exact judges whom he wants to put on the bench.
You know, that's a very good point, because just recently I saw a fact check on Joe Biden's claim about appointing a woman of color. And a lot of the women who would fit that description and who could be appointed to the Supreme Court, who are currently already on a panel, are traditionally a little bit older. And I think a lot of Democrats see that as a problem, acknowledging what conservatives have done over the past couple of years. Because when you look at Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, whoever ends up getting this nomination, whether it's Barbara Lagoa, Amy Coney Barrett, whoever it may be, they are younger conservative justices on that court, meaning they're going to be holding that position for a long time. So when you look at what Joe Biden is possibly looking, and I believe the youngest person on his list would-be list, I should say, would be around 60 years old. Do you think that this is an issue that he's just making a campaign issue and he's going to get called out for it when it gets to the debate stage?
Absolutely. How can the party that he is trying to represent, who talks about being young and progressive and a new generation, nominate a 77 or 74-year-old white man who then nominates a person of color to the Supreme Court that is up in age? You know, you want to have longevity on the court. You want to have somebody who can be there for a while. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who just passed away, as we all know, was on there for decades. And so that's what you want. Putting somebody up there that is not a part of where his party wants to be will backfire. There's tons, I would suspect, of younger people that would be great for the bench. but he's not going to put them on there because he knows that he has to do what he wants. But the party of the left, the radical left, is going to push him further and further to the left. And it's a political conundrum for Joe Biden. He's in a no-win situation, and he's not being honest or transparent with the American people about it.
And this looks like another one of those issues where he's going to have to backpedal a little bit, the same way that he did with protests, the same way that he did with NAFTA, the Iraq War, because even right now, he won't answer the question as to whether he's open to the idea of stacking the courts if he were to win the office and Republicans were to follow through on this vacancy. And in the past, that is something that he has said that he does not want. It's something in the past that Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that she did not want. So I think that we're starting to see the truth behind the idea that the progressives are running this party right now, and Joe Biden is that vehicle because he's not willing to speak out on that anymore as he once did. But Paris Dennard, I really appreciate you coming on the program tonight and breaking down where we stand in this race. Thank you.